Hello, this is a video I wanted to make since a while, and it's basically a video about how not to bind a belt grinder. What you see here is a machine that I ordered from Kamil Wisniewsky back in 2016, and it arrived with a very large delay of more than a year. It arrived last winter, basically before Christmas. And when I started to take it to operation, I discovered a load of problems. The first obvious one were some cosmetics, of course, but then it became more and more obvious that the grinder is really barely usable, and I would like to show you a bit about it, because yeah, you don't want to get a similar one. So what's the problem here? First of all, when the grinder arrived, it's already obvious that it's in a very poor state. I mean, the paint job mostly missing, deep scratches on many places, and it arrived like that. And look, the holder of the platen doesn't look any better. And then I started to put the grinder together, and I realized that I'm not going to put in the arm that holds the work rest reasonably easily, because it is aluminum. And there are aluminum bars. On one of them, a dirt will catch, piece of steel, and it will bite in there and scratch, and it simply won't get in there, it will get stuck. So I had to sand the sides of the bar so it actually can slide in. Of course, this means it loses a bit of a precision. Then let's have a look at the work rest, which has an angle adjustment. It's actually not a bad idea, but just look the way it is done. This quick release didn't work when it arrived, so it's just a screw from it. And if you try to rotate it, this doesn't actually follow a proper circle, so you get out of circle by about a few millimeters, so there is no way you can actually tilt it. The frame, I mean the concept of the frame is okay. This is nothing new. This kind of grinder. What is not so great are these two very tall legs that could use some torque strengthening. There could be a little bit of wobble, although the grinder doesn't really shake. That's not a problem. When I started to put it together, put on the first belt, I realized the tracking is completely off. I don't quite know what is the problem. Whether some of the wheels is off axis, because there is no way to adjust this really. Maybe with a hammer. But the tracking always had to be very far off to the left in this video, so that I actually would get centered belt on the platen. This all assembly is very handmade. There is no precision, and since the belt had to run so much on the edge, it would regularly catch on this screw. As you can see, it got pretty deep in. So those are the main issues. Now, another issue was, I mean, look how the platen is attached. These L's were too short. I had to buy new ones. I mean, I didn't make it better. I just made it usable, because the platen, when the belt was mounted, would stay like 1 centimeter behind the belt. The reason is it was never tested with this platen. The test platen was this piece of steel that was simply put in space and used as a platen to see that the grinder tracks. Now, one of the things that wasn't as I hoped it would be was the VFD. This is a 1.5 2 horsepower VFD, perfectly normal device. There's not a problem. But I ordered IP66. This is the model IP20, and before I managed to build an enclosure for it, it burned, probably because of steel dust around. So what does it mean to me? I have a grinder now which doesn't work. I'm not going to buy a new VFD for this grinder, because to do anything about it, to change any setting, is impossible. What you can see here, I just jump back a little. This is a glass platen which I made. I simply put a piece of steel under it, and it's glued with JB Weld. This is actually not a bad idea. It works pretty well. But so back to the grinder as a concept. So the thing could have been a perfectly usable machine if it had not been such a patchwork on so many places, because it is so not nice to use. one of the strange things were when Kamil was ordering an engine, he said he got a wrong type from the company, and then he had to would give it back, send it back, and he didn't want to pay him back and whatever. And I actually talked me into buying the engine myself. So I bought this engine in England, had it bought in England and sent to Poland, so he can finish the grinder. So the engine is actually okay. At the end, you are looking at a grinder which cost me 1,600 euros, including shipping and the wrong VFD, an engine which I had to pay for, at a price which I was quoted at 1,200 euros for a grinder. Well, this is a lesson learned. I am not going to buy a handmade grinder like this any more unless I have a much better contact to the seller and can check what he's doing and how he is doing. This was my first big grinder, so I was lacking the experience. What is going to happen now? The VFD is probably bust. I'm going to give it to a friend. If he has a friend who knows a guy who knows a guy and get it repaired, then he has a VFD. If not, it's a trash. I will take down the engine, the wheels, and the rest goes to a steel trash bin tomorrow. I'm actually ordering a new grinder, professionally made grinder, and if I look back, had I spent not those quoted 1,200 euros, which became 16 later on, but maybe 1,800 euros, then I could have had a perfect running grinder for 2 years by now. I have lost a lot of time, I have lost a lot of money. Kamil didn't react to any request for to refurbish me. I would have sent the grinder heavily back, which he never recognized the request. So, well, yeah. If you are going to buy a grinder from someone who do it by hand, you better know him personally, and you know what they are doing and how they are doing it, because this long distance order went terribly wrong on so many levels. I'm not even going to get into the details, which would be partially private, which would be probably wrong to do. So my last 2 words: grinder from Kamil Wisniewski is a no-go. I can't really recommend it.